Yeah, which means it could backfire.
It could backfire because I think at the same time, I've seen some procurement departments just like you, like they're trying to load in responses into Chat GPT or Copilot, and they're trying to do faster analysis and price parity when they're looking at the bids. And ideally, it's like, hey, can I get smarter answers around margin? And ultimately, I do think you'll see some companies starting to force stated margin responses in the RFP.
Good. Talk more about that.
And so this is specific, like if I'm hiring a bunch of configuration or engineering talent from Accenture, for example, when I was at CNH, I said, well, how do I know you're not padding your margin by using ChatGPT to drive productivity? And are you billing me for that productivity gain or not? Right. And we had long dialogues but this was about a year ago, and they hadn't figured out how to price that back to the customer.
Right,
Because my comment is I expect 30% reduction in my rate because you guys are using ChatGPT for coding.
right.
And of course, they're like, well, we can't do that. And I said, well, if you're telling me, because they would say we're seeing 20% gains in their productivity using these tools, I said, great. I should see a 20% reduction in my bill. So how about you walk me through your margin by role and which roles are using ChatGPT, and you should be able to hold margin by passing that savings on to me.
And I'm sure you got the response, we're selling value, not margin, right?
Yeah, but I think it's going to to your point, I think it's going to put pressure on their ability to continue to justify the value versus margin. And and sadly, to your point of like a race to the bottom, I do think it'll be a bit more of, a leveling of the playing field as it relates to how a manufacturer procures bolts, because it truly is on a margin. Hey, I'm willing to give you 4% margin on this bolt, and I'll commit this volume to you, right? For that extra point off, for example.
Yeah,